Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show. Howdy.
Hi. Happy best week of the year, folks.
Yeah.
He's not visible, but I want to make sure everybody sees our darn turkey. Look at him.
We love him.
Look at him. He has a pumpkin pie in his little tummy. He's doing great.
That's an accurate description of me on Thursday.
It's going to be us. It's going to be all of us.
I strive to look just like that.
Look at you, buddy. You're doing great. You keep doing your thing. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. Pickle, I sent you a photo on Friday. Did you receive this photo?
Yes. Very important. I don't have it on the...
So...
Let me see what I can do here.
See if we can pull it up.
Yeah, give me a minute.
So, Friday was a crazy day for me. I'd come up here, run the show for you knuckleheads, and then I had to run and get a haircut, and then I had to run home, and I didn't really... Normally, I like to, rest a little bit before I go up to do the stuff at Bally, but I couldn't for a couple of reasons. One, we went on the early because we had the Abilene versus Denton Ryan game. Congratulations to the Warbirds on that good win. So pregame started at 6. Normally we go on the air at 7:30. So I already working on a truncated timeline. Also, I had to be somewhere because it was at my kid's school, at Hank's school. It was their annual Thanksgiving. I don't know if you'd call it a pageant. Their presentation. They call it Pie Day. They have Thanksgiving Pie Day.
Yeah.
Pie Day
That
Friday.
can also get confusing because there are real pie days.
And so we roll up, and now Hank's class for some reason right now, because he's in pre-K, and I think there's other pre-K options. He's only got 5 other kids in his class, and they're all boys.
Oh my!
Shout out Miss Melissa. Anyway, so we've gotten to know all these parents and stuff like that in the class. And afterwards, after they did their little presentation, they had pie for everybody.
Oh man!
They had pumpkin pie and pecan pie. It's great. But the presentation consisted of the students doing. They had a poem, which was about 5 little turkeys. It's a cute thing. And this is, I know there's been a complaint for people of why Thanksgiving's always trailing Christmas, because there's no Thanksgiving music. Right? They had a song. Have you heard the Albuquerque the Turkey song?
I have not, but
it's very
now
good.
I want to.
Hank can sing it to you. He
Okay. practiced
it many times. Long story short is that Albuquerque is their pet turkey. And here you go. Here's the
Let's
the
go.
Because we pull
Hank
up,
the Pie Man.
and all of them are dressed like that.
Amazing.
All of them are dressed like that. Dressed up like pumpkin pie.
I want to let you know that I shared this picture of your son with multiple group texts of mine.
Don't hate it. That's fine.
Sent it straight to Mallory. She said, "Hank," with little crying eyes. I sent it to my family group text.
Of
my
course.
mom said, "The cutest piece of pumpkin pie."
Of course, yes, absolutely. I almost texted Trish this photo, but then I figured I don't want to be redundant. She's probably getting it from her daughter.
Yes.
That's fine.
I did send it.
Good. Yes. So
LP loved the pumpkin.
So they all dressed up like pumpkin pie, and yeah. So we
rocks.
he sang Albuquerque Turkey and all of them. And then I had a busy weekend because on Saturday I went and I hung out with the youth leadership organization that I volunteer with, the wristband that I wear, and work late, wake up early, get there, but that was it's always a real trip to go hang out with them because they you realize exactly how old you are, which is because these are seniors in high school and stuff like that. You're hanging out with them. But it was a good time with them. But we had it was a very but I got it. My wife was home with the boys. It was an all-day thing, and so my wife was kind enough to watch the boys so that I could go and do this volunteer thing. But as a result, I get a text message from my wife at about 5 o'clock asking 2 questions. One, is it okay if I go take the boys to get McDonald's? Which
obviously,
yeah,
yes.
go. Absolutely. That's great. The other thing was they wanted to buy on the streaming platform a movie, right? Because it's like not available on Netflix or whatever. It's like one of the things. And it was on sale. It's the movie Sing. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I love Sing. Sing 2's coming out. Was it Sing 2?
Oh, no, Sing 2 exists.
Okay.
It's already out. They're probably working on Sing 3. They're going to print money with that thing.
Yeah. Sing is great, though.
And so I get a photo of Hank standing next to the television, like on the purchase screen, right? And all he's doing is standing there like this, like, please, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm already abandoning my family on a Saturday, right? And they're asking for $7 for a movie. I'm like, okay, fine. And so then about an hour later, I got a photo of the two boys sitting in their chairs watching the movie.
Oh, nice.
And stuff like that. So anyway, it was an eventful weekend for the Teppers, most of which revolved around, like, Hank dressed like a pie.
That rocks.
Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas football today, a show that's already getting our pie plates out.
Yeah.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle.
Happy Thanksgiving week, folks.
Happy Thanksgiving week, folks. Best week of the year. Today is
Monday.
Thank you. November 20th, 2023. 3 days until Thanksgiving,
Let's
folks.
go.
3 days until the best day of the year. It's happy birthday. Do you know it's the president's birthday?
No,
I just found this out.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the president's birthday. Also the birthday of Future. So
nice.
Those are two people who share the same birthday. Joe Biden and Future.
Yep.
Life's a rich tapestry. It's episode 1697. On today's show, folks, we're going to overreact to a large weekend of football across the Lone Star State and Monday morning fallout. And then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the regional semifinal bound, Richmond Randall Lions. Coach Brian Randall will join us. We will talk about his Lions. We'll talk about their first playoff win in program history. We'll talk about their second playoff win in program history. We'll talk about doing it at a school that's named for his dad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to get to with Brian Randall coming up here back half of the program if you stick around with us. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Big Jiggly Water Balloons,
Yes.
Daniel Agnew, Paul Roberts, whose football opinions you can trust, and Tony Blaylock. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We hope you're having a wonderful holiday weekend. What is the median number of days people work this week?
3.
Most people work Wednesday?
Maybe 2.
Everyone's. I would say honestly, I think the answer is probably 2.5.
Yeah.
Because I think people
People go in on Wednesday,
Yep.
and then it's let's all go get lunch.
We go to
and
lunch, and
then
it's like
kind of skedaddle.
Why don't we just head on?
Yeah. Yeah, 2.5 is probably spot on.
I would have to imagine Wednesday afternoon, from like a productivity perspective, is a bottom.
Oh,
3
yeah.
day.
Well, the other thing that's crazy is when I was in college, we had class all the way until Wednesday. Like, we had to go to school on Wednesday. A lot of professors would cancel if they had a Wednesday class, but not all of them. Now, my brother gets the full week off.
These kids today,
I know.
they don't know how good they got it.
Yeah. Well, and then we're doing Texas football tonight, so I'm forcing them all to come back up on Friday, but sorry. It's
Thanks
for
a lot,
the people.
Thanks a lot, Professor Pickle.
Hey, I gave them Tuesday off.
Oh, what a...
It's an internship.
You are such a Such a gracious.
I'm a kind dictator.
Such a gracious and overlord.
I try.
Absolutely.
It's really Mallory.
Yeah,
Mallory got me and she said, "We're doing a show on Friday." And I said, "Yes, ma'am."
I can definitely.
She lifted me up. It was quite scary.
She picked you up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. She's jacked.
Yeah.
Pickle! Hit the air raid sign. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Overreact to the football weekend. Large week of overreactions to have across the Lone Star State. We'll start with my opening thought. They don't ask how. It was a weird week of games.
Yeah, it was.
In the Texas high school football playoffs. And yet, I think you would look across the landscape and you would say that it was not just a flurry of upsets. It wasn't this flurry of unbelievable results that you just couldn't wrap your head around, right? There were a couple, but like this wasn't a chaos week as much as it was close call week. You had a number of teams that I think got into dogfights they weren't expecting before eventually coming away with the win. Dripping Springs trailed for almost the entirety of the game on Saturday before they pulled away and beat Converse Judson. Right? You had DeSoto, who's in a bit of a tussle with Wiley East for a bit. You had Galena Park North Shore, who I believe was tied going to the fourth quarter with Clear Springs.
They were.
And also, we don't know the status of quarterback Caleb Bailey, who apparently left with an injury. There were a number of those games across the state that the margins were maybe a little wonkier than we thought they would. Columbus against Woodsville won 24-7. You're like, that's a little odd. But this is the perfect week to dust off an old phrase, which is survive in advance. There ain't no style points here. You're either through to the next round or not. Go ask Katie if they would have loved a hideous win.
Yes.
Go ask Bernie if they would have loved an ugly as sin victory. Go ask China Spring if they would have loved to have some game where they looked like dog doo-doo, but they're practicing on Thanksgiving. They don't ask you how. They ask you how many. And having more points than the other is all that matters at this point, especially as we get towards the end.
Absolutely.
Especially now 2 weeks into the playoffs. Every team you play is good. Every team you play is dangerous.
Yeah, there's no more like we talked about it on the show the other day. Like, you can basically drop Cinderella at this point. Like, these are just good teams.
Yeah.
Now, some of them you can still say, oh, it's like a Cinderella run because no one expected them to be here. But it's not Cinderella as in, like, they're not fully capable of going to a state championship at this point.
For example, there are teams here that I will be honest, I did not expect to be here. Victoria West was a fourth-place team.
Brownsville Veterans Memorial
beat Corpus Christi in that same region. What about Italy? Italy, nice surprise. But all these teams are good.
Yep.
And it's important to shift our mindset from what we do throughout the course of the year of like saying, well, what does this result mean moving forward? How do we kind of project this result moving forward? We're at the forward. We're here. All that matters now is having one more point than your opponent at the end. Certainly you want to play well. But in the end, right now, the name of the game is to get to the next round. Game of the week happened Saturday.
Yep.
Midland Legacy 57, Euless Trinity 55 in double overtime. Trinity, I believe, missed a field goal that would have won it at the end of regulation, which sends them to overtime. They trade scores in overtime, and they get the second overtime. Euless Trinity scores, doesn't get the 2-point conversion. Midland Legacy scores, does get the 2-point conversion. This is sweet revenge for Legacy, because a couple of years ago, might have been 2020, they played Trinity and they coughed up a huge lead and ended up losing. To go to Bedford.
I think that was one of the Ollie Gordon years.
Might have been. To go to Bedford and get a win like this is really impressive. And it was a wild, wild affair there in the HEB. As Midland Legacy is through to the next round of the playoffs, they will now draw, by the way, Allen. So you want to talk about, they're going to meet in Abilene. They're going to play Shotwell, 4 o'clock Saturday. You want to talk about another opportunity to stake your claim and to win one for the West Texas.
Did you see the video of Coach Hartman and his daughter hugging after the game? Wholesome. That was cool.
Very cute.
That was really cool.
Very good. That's what it's about. It's a great win for Midland Legacy. They go on the road, long road trip, and get that win, and like a real proof of concept type win for them. Great one. Am I overreacting? Are we gonna have 7 new FBS coaches in 2024?
A lot of it depends on the A&M hire, but
so hear me out. I'm not suggesting that 7 coaches are getting fired. Okay, right now, as of right now, we will have 1 new FBS coach, Texas A&M. I think you can identify 3 other coaches. I would say maybe even 4 other coaches who are on the hot seat. Right? I think Dana Dimmel at UTEP's on the hot seat. I think Mike Bloomgren at Rice is on the hot seat. I think Dana Holgerson at Houston's on the hot seat.
Yep.
I think Dave Aranda at Baylor's on the hot seat.
Yes.
That's 4. You add that to Texas A&M, that's 5 vacancies. There are also people within the state that are going to be candidates.
Jeff Traylor.
GJ Kinney. I wouldn't be surprised if Rhett Lashley gets the job. I don't know if he would.
I don't know if Rhett Lashley would necessarally end up anywhere in Texas, but I think nationally he is definitely.
Rhett Lashley's going to get phone calls.
Yep.
For what he's doing at SMU.
And I was going to say he came from Miami, so he's very locked in all that whole side of the U.S.
Right. I mean, and by the way, we also have not talked about Sam Houston.
No.
Casey Keeler, it hasn't gone awesome for them. They've been better of late,
right?
But like it hasn't gone awesome in their infancy as an FBS program. It's not outside the realm of possibility that we have 7 new coaches next year through being hired away, good and bad, like promotions and terminations.
Yep.
But that's something that I'm keeping my eye on because especially I know you were at the Houston game.
They coughed up that one.
Feels like a real winnable game.
Yep.
And now they're not going to go to a bowl.
Nope.
Baylor
has just looked awful.
They look like they've bottomed out.
They look like one of the worst programs in the nation of anybody in their weight class.
Like a Power 5 team. They're one of
bad.
They do. They look bad. Like think about their wins. Their wins this year, they have 3 of them. They have that wild come-from-behind win over UCF.
Yep.
Did they beat Houston? What was their other win?
No. They beat the Rhode Island school.
No, they beat Long Island. They beat Long Island, and their other win was over Cincinnati.
Cincinnati,
who's bad.
Cincinnati is
garbage.
Very bad.
And by the way, they finish at home against West Virginia on Saturday, and West Virginia's probably going to be favored in that game.
West Virginia beat Houston.
Anyway. Keep an eye on
No, that's a lie. Houston beat them on the Hail Mary.
Keep an eye on the carousel. It's time for the Dudes Rock Dude of the Week, in which we celebrate a dude who rocks with the hashtag Dudes Rock. If you know a dude who rocked, please use the hashtag #DudesRock, and send them to Ashley_Pickle12 on Twitter.
I want Chicks Rock. Chick of the Week.
Let's talk about Ingleside wide receiver Jaden Smith, who very quietly set a national receiving record this weekend with his 39th touchdown reception, more than anybody in Texas and more than anybody in the nation. And by the way, he's still got one more game. Ingleside's got a date this week, I believe, with Wimberley. But Jaden Smith, Ingleside wide receiver, the record-setting wide receiver there, is our hashtag DudesRock Dude of the Week. Congratulations to Jaden Smith. Hashtag DudesRock. Send it to Ashley_Pickle12.
Move on.
Dudes Rock. Did I mention the Dudes Rock? Let's get to our play of the week. Tepper's play of the week. A lot of good options because it was a lot of wild games across the state and a lot of like crazy individual performances. Mm-hmm. But I want to go to Tomball and Conroe Oak Ridge, who go to overtime. Conroe Oak Ridge scores, kicks for an extra point. Tomball scores as well. And now something you need to know about Tomball, okay? And something you need to know specifically about Tomball's head coach, Dave Handel. Dave Handel don't give a rip.
No.
Dave Handel is out here coaching on vibes.
Dude, he thrives in the playoffs.
He is an agent of chaos.
He thrives in the playoffs.
He's an agent of chaos. And on Friday night, he decided, you know what? Why don't we go for 2 in the win? And it's this week's play of the week.
Them doing anything else. They're going to try to end this game right now. It's over one way or another after this play. 2-point conversion attempt. Tomball trails by 1 here in overtime, number 1. Janot in motion up top. Tomball going for 2. Noyce. Fosher throws. It is caught! Tomball wins it! Cougars to the regional semifinals!
And now,
the
Matt Step.
There it is. The play of the week. Tomball's gutsy trick play game winner in overtime.
That is the literal biggest like high ceiling, low floor. You can either storm the field or your name is in vain in that town for a whole season.
Your season comes down to a play.
Yeah.
To a single play.
So gutsy.
And by the way, it's an odd play call.
Very.
Because it's a halfback pass, but they run it basically like a pop pass.
The guy basically ran like an odd version of a wheel route.
They ran like zone, and then they leaked the tight end out, and the running back just like jumped in through it. It's like, honestly, you see that play a lot more. It would be a lot more like, it wouldn't look as weird or as strange. Weird has a negative connotation. As strange if they had just run it out of the Wildcat.
Yes.
Where they snap it directly to the running back, he takes one step forward and then jumps and throws.
Because most everybody doesn't want to have 2 different transactions. Like the thought of 2 different transactions to win a playoff game from the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
That's too many.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, but it worked. And then, by the way, did you see the guy who caught the touchdown pass? What he did with the ball?
He punted it out.
He just yeeted it into the stands, just like punted it, like bah.
Yeah, great call by Gavin Moritz on that one.
That's perfect on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Great win, great play. Tomball's trick play game winner is our play of the week.
Chase Snyder, one of our broadcasters, tweeted out, "Death taxes Tomball shocking people in the playoffs," and I was like, that is so accurate.
And by the way, I believe I picked Tomball. I believe that's correct. I would need to go back and check. I would not categorize that as an upset. I thought it was like a coin flippy type game, which obviously it went overtime, so it was a coin flippy type game. But like just the way that they do their business, where they put constant pressure on you, like they are going to walk a razor's edge, but it paid off there. Quick break for a hot take. Incarnate Word got screwed. So the FCS playoff bracket came out yesterday. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. And there was only one team that we had our eye on for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And that is Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word is the only team with 2 or fewer losses to be left out of the field. Now, the argument, certainly from the selection committee, is going to be their strength of schedule. They ranked 87th nationally in strength of schedule. Okay? Even with a 21-point win over Houston Christian on Saturday, they were not among the 14 at-large selections. They lost to Nichols. They could have had an auto bid if they had beaten Nichols and won the league, won the Southland. They didn't. But I am pretty shocked. I think this is, and they had quotes from Kent Haslam, who's the selection committee chair, said this is the toughest, by far the most difficult I thought this was a really baffling decision here. And certainly I'm a homer because I want a Texas team to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no Texas team in the FCS playoffs. But
that's got to be the first time in a while that that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't help that Sam Houston made the leap,
up.
right?
Yeah.
But the FCS football season's over now, as Incarnate Word, in my opinion, got screwed by the committee.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Not cool.
Time for our Huh of the Week. This is getting harder and harder to do because, like, I think there's, like, the games are getting narrower and the teams that are, like, there's fewer surprises. But this one caught my eye. Lexington 48, Odom 7. This was a game that I thought Odom was a favorite, a narrow favorite. I would not categorize it as an upset that Lexington won.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was within the realm of possibility. But the fact that Lexington completely and totally dominated them is shocking.
Yeah.
325 yards and 3 touchdowns passing from quarterback Case Evans. And more importantly, they turned the ball over they forced 4 turnovers. Did Lexington. And they piled it on them. This game was 28-7 at half. It was not close. Lexington went out there and took the fight to them. Again, not an upset that Lexington won, but the fact that Lexington won by 41 points is surprising. That's my Huh of the Week. Now time for the wild stat of the week. This comes to us from our friend Mark Cohen at TCU. So TCU beat Baylor on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. In the Blue Bonnet battle.
Not acknowledging that.
The trophy's so bad.
They won, and TCU beat Baylor 42-17. Mm-hmm. Pulled away in the second half, kind of pulled their pants down. In the first quarter, Amani Bailey ran for a 27-yard touchdown to give TCU their first points of the game. That is the 393rd consecutive game that TCU has scored in.
Wow.
393rd. It's the second longest streak in NCAA history. It's also the second longest active streak. The longest active streak belongs to Florida, who's got 446. They have not been...
Oh, wow, so they're substantially ahead.
TCU has not been shut out since November 16th, 1991.
Wow. They were very close at risk of losing that in the national championship, but they still put 7 points on the board.
They have gone 32 years since they've been shut out. 32 full seasons
that's
since
impressive.
they've been shut out. For Florida, by the way, 1988 is the last time they got shut out.
Yeah.
They've not been shut out in 32 years. That's your wild stat of the week. I thought it was wild. Now it's time to hand out some hardware. It's a very special edition of the Matt Step. He got that dog in him player of the week.
And now, the Matt Step. He got that dog in him. Player of the week.
All right, y'all. Matt Step, Dave Campbell's Texas Football with the crew in the press box. It's Thy Frazier, Stephen Peters, and the guy Mike Roach here watching South Oak Cliff and Melissa at halftime. But it's time for the area round of the playoffs. Matt Step, he got that dog in him award winner. And the winner of this week's Matt Step, he got that dog in him award winner is none other than Midland Legacy running back Damian Johnson. In today's win over Euless Trinity, Damian Johnson had 349 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns in a 57-55 double overtime win. Congrats, Damian. You, sir, have got that dog in you.
This has been the Matt Step, he got that dog in him player of the week.
There he is.
That's an all-timer.
The Matt Step, he got that dog in him player of the
With
week. Shout out to
Thigh
Guy
in the back.
Shout out to Guy Frazier in the background who's just like, what are you doing? What is this nonsense?
Good old Thigh.
It's important, though. Congratulations to Damian Johnson of Midland Legacy. This week's Matt Step, he got that dog in him player of the week. You have my attention, Lavernia. So Lavernia takes out Bernie, 42-31. And that was, by the way, Bernie was I went back and looked. Unanimously, all of us had Bernie winning the region.
Yes.
Lavernia, I think we talked about it. I know I've mentioned on the picks video.
the computer loved them. We've talked about
Computer was crazy about Lavernia. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to figure. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why? Like, what is the computer seeing that we're not? And I think what the computer was seeing in hindsight now we know, is that they lost those 2 games in the middle of the season, but they were close games to good teams. And everyone else, they smoked them, including some other good teams. And what you saw from Lavernia in this game was outstanding running game and an impressive performance on the offensive line. I thought the offensive line, against a very good Bernie front, ate up. Defense came up with some stops, and they got a win. The other team down in South Texas to mention is Edna. Edna gets the big win over Jourdanton on Thursday night. And again, one of those games, like we were talking about Lexington and Odom, it's not shocking that Edna won. I thought that was a coin flippy game. I picked Jourdanton. Your mileage may vary. But the margin by which they won that game was really wild, really impressive. But Lavernia has my attention, and I got to be honest. They play Davenport this week. Mm-hmm. I think they're the favorite to win Region 4 now. I think you got to consider them the favorite to win Region 4. It's a huge win for them over Bernie. Get excited for Carthage and Pleasant Grove. It's going down Friday afternoon at Pirate Stadium in Longview. It is, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in 4A Division 2 going at it. Apologies to Silsby and Belleville, who will also play in a heater this week. But this is, to me, if you want to consider this the state championship game, I think that's okay. I think we're in for a fantastic ball game between Carthage and Pleasant Grove. Talk a lot about it on the picks. Final thought. Friday night lights are great, but football all day is better.
Another great part of Thanksgiving week.
So nobody had the courage to play Thursday. It's tough. We'll try again next year. Nobody had the courage to play Thursday. But on Friday, Mademoiselle Pickle, we got football all day.
We will have football on Dave Campbell's Texan Live from 10 a.m. to about 10:30 p.m. And that's assuming nothing goes into overtime.
10 a.m., Fort Bend Hightower and Sheldon C.E. King kick off at NRG Stadium. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then we're going to have games up until kicking off at 7:30. So we will have football from 10 a.m. to probably, maybe not 11.
10:30.
But 10:30. All day. It is a smorgasbord. That it's fun for me. It's fun. We all love the Friday night. Right? Bunch of games going on. You're trying to keep up with all of them. That's a lot of fun. But especially this week, there's something really fun about a bunch of high-stakes games going on, kind of like stacking up next to one another and building up to a crescendo, that there's still a ton of games Friday night. Fantastic day. Friday is one of the best days of the year. That's my final thought, and that's Monday Morning Fallout. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Reminder that starting on Thursday evening, Christmas season starts. And so if you're looking for a gift, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.
And do it now so that way they can have access to the playoffs and getting to watch all these great games instead of waiting and giving it to them when football season's over.
Give your loved one the gift of football. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here in just a moment, we'll be joined by the head coach of the regional semifinal bound Richmond Randall Lions. Coach Brian Randall will join us. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. There are 176 UIL Texas high school football teams practicing on Thanksgiving week. One of them that's doing it for the very first time are the Richmond Randle Lions through to the regional semifinals. And we're pleased to be joined by the head coach of those Randle Lions, Coach Brian Randall. Coach, how are you?
I'm well. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Probably not as good as you, though.
I tell you what, we're grateful. Very grateful.
You guys are a young program, but you're already making history. A couple weeks ago, you guys get your first playoff win in program history. This past week, you followed up with your second playoff win in program history. What is the energy around this program like right now?
Oh man, we're just super excited. The boys they're ready to go. They're ready to go. The community is behind us, and that's the biggest thing. Just the Randall community has gotten behind the boys, and the boys believe, coaches believe, staff believes, and that's what it's going to take to keep us rolling.
I want to go back to last week against Belton. You guys are coming off of a big, emotional, powerful win over Fort Bend Marshall. You followed up by taking on a very game Belton squad. How difficult was it, or not difficult at all, was it to kind of refocus your guys after such a historic win one week to say, hey, guys, we got 6 days, and then we got to play a really good team again?
Oh, it's tough. Mm-hmm. It's tough because those are games you call them trap games, because you win a big game, like a huge game beating Marshall, because nobody picked us to beat them. Now we knew we could play with them. Mm-hmm. We knew we could play with them, and that was the biggest thing, is just getting the boys to understand, that you deserve to be here. But getting ready for Belton, we just didn't want to stub our toe. We knew we had more athletes. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we're pretty fast. We're a pretty fast football team.
You guys go out there and take care of business, and one of the things that's so remarkable about this team is that you guys are not just young, y'all are babies. y'all are real young across the board. A ton of underclassmen playing sophomores and freshmen, stuff like that. On your schedule, though, is this team ahead of schedule, or is this team where you thought they'd be?
Oh gosh, I don't want to lie and say, yeah, we knew we were going to be this good, mm-hmm. Because you never know. I mean, we got bit by the injury bug early on. Going into this season, we're down 6, 7, 8 starters, like guys that we were counting on. But when I say it's been a team and an entire program success, because it's next man up, next person step up, and they haven't let us down yet. And that's the thing. That's the one thing that we just kind of rally behind, and just letting everybody know that this is a team. It's a team. It's a team effort, week in and week out.
Talking with Brian Randall, the head coach of the Randall Lions here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation. Hashtag TF Today. Coach, it's hard to talk about this team without talking about number one, Landon Callis-Williams. The freshman phenom has been unbelievable. 1,800 yards rushing, 22 touchdowns. He's already a top prospect across the state of Texas, stuff like that. You're the guy who gets to see him in practice. You're the guy who gets to see him in the locker room. What is it about your star running back that really makes him special?
He's been here before, man. Like the kid's been here before. I've never been around a kid who's so calm under pressure. Like he just has it. He has it. We're against Marshall, and we're running a certain formation. We had him lined up at receiver, and we really weren't. Like the thing was kind of maybe use him as a decoy type thing, but it wasn't really working. So he overheard me tell the OC, put him back at the back, put him back at back or whatnot. And the kid comes up. I feel somebody pull on my shirt. Like he pulls on my shirt. He says, "Coach, put me back in and run Aggie. I'll beat him. Put me back at receiver and run Aggie." So I didn't realize he had overheard the conversation, right? So I guess he overheard us talking or whatnot. We put him back in. We run Aggie, and the kid's wide open. Now, mind you, we missed. Like it was a bad ball, so he didn't catch it. But when I tell you the kid, he'd have walked in the end zone. So having a kid like that with a mindset like that, it makes us all better. It makes us all better. And it reminds me, hey, you got to listen to your players, because the players are the ones that play. Coach is coach, but sometimes you got to sit back and listen to your kids. And it's real unique when a freshman can go out there and point that kind of stuff out. So.
Talking with Brian Randall of Richmond Randall Lions here on Texas Football Today. All right, Coach, on the other side of the ball, it's fun to look at the offense that you guys are doing. You guys are putting up fun numbers and things, but the defense has taken a step forward as well. Last year, you guys gave up about 29 points a game. This year, you guys have cut that down to under 20. What has been the difference on the defensive side that really has you guys where you are right now?
Understanding. The biggest thing is just focus and understanding, and then just slowing things down and walking their fits. Like we're a gap sound defense. Now we're a multiple front, but we don't do anything crazy or too exotic. It's just being gap sounding. The kids are understanding just how to get home, be where I'm supposed to be, and then to be mad when you get there. And we've been striking people. Jared Sherman, number 5, is one of the hardest hitting kids I've ever been around. And I've been doing this for a long time.
I do have to ask, Coach. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about doing this at the school that you're doing it at. This is the newest program, newest school down there in Lamar Consolidated ISD. The school is named after your father, Thomas, who was the superintendent, there at Lamar Consolidated ISD with the district for more than 20 years. To be making history at this program that's named after your father. What are your emotions about that?
It's unique. The biggest thing you want to do is make your family proud, right? And we talk to our boys about elevation and making, being proud of where you're from, being proud of your last name, and getting the baton and just kind of running with it. Well, it's a little tougher for me because they named the building after Dad, so we got to figure out a way to continue to just move forward and do things right, do things the right way with integrity, because my dad, he's a real good guy, man. When I tell you he's a good dude, like he is legit human being, better man than I'll ever be. And if we can just keep on winning and keep winning and keep winning and making him proud and making the community proud, we're going to be all right.
And finally, Coach, your reward, besides getting to practice on Thanksgiving, is 7 o'clock Friday night, 1 o'clock Friday at Woodforest Bank Stadium in Shenandoah. You will draw a team that you saw a couple weeks ago. Back in Week 11, you guys took on Huntsville, finished the regular season with a 35-6 win. You get them again. They have polished off a couple of really nice victories. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan, but when you look at what you're going to be up against on Friday, what challenges do you see?
Huntsville is a very well coached team. Coach does a great job with them. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They're physical. They're fast. We got to keep kind of just stay the course and do what we do. Stay the course, do what we do. Don't make any mental errors, any mental mistakes. Now, their starting running back didn't play against us when we played them. So our meeting this morning, we met this morning at 8 o'clock. My team meeting, the whole thing was the concept. We talked about, they weren't. I'm going to say, I don't know, I could say a loaded gun on the air, but you know what I mean? Like they didn't have all their bullets. Does that make sense? So please don't, I'm not talking about guns, guys. Don't get me in trouble. But
we understand.
That's just, okay. All right, great. Yeah. So he didn't play. There's a couple guys that didn't play against us. So that's the whole thing I'm trying to get our kids to understand, that they didn't have a full team per se. So just don't be overconfident. Because like I know, you overconfident, you'll tend to bump your head on some things. So we just got to keep our head down, put our blinders on, and stay focused, and we'll be okay.
He's Brian Randall. He's the head coach of the Randle Lions. Big game this weekend coming up against Huntsville. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all your success so far, and best of luck on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There
he goes. Brian Randall, head coach of the Randle Lions. Join us here at Texas Football Today. They're serious business. Their one loss on the year is to Lake Creek, who they might, by the way, see in the regional final if they were to get past Huntsville. There's 3 teams from that district left, with Lake Creek, Randall, and Huntsville, and P&G is the other one kind of lurking there. This is a good Randall team. That is, it's funny. He kind of hesitated when I asked him about if they're ahead of his schedule,
right?
Because they are so young. Freshman running back, sophomore quarterback, like a bunch of sophomores, juniors maybe, like a lot of youngsters, but they're playing unafraid. Yeah. They're just playing their paper right now. They're letting it rip, and it's one of those things that you wonder if they're too young to understand they're supposed to be nervous.
Right.
But it was a really impressive win over Belton. They are through to the 3rd round for the first time in program history, and they will take on Huntsville on Friday. Really excited to see what they're able to do. And we appreciate Coach Randall's time. Coming up here in just a moment, an explosive pre-Thanksgiving edition of Final Thoughts. But first, let's find out who's up for the Week 13 Area Round Playoff edition of the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the TaxAct Texas Bowl, is proud to give the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award, presented by Kroger, to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each week, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Congratulations to this week's 10 nominees. Fans, be sure to vote for the player you believe should be the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week at TexasFootball.com. Voting closes Friday at noon, with the winner announced shortly after on TexasFootball.com. Thanks to Kroger and the TaxAct Texas Bowl for their continued support of Texas high school football and the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award.
And now, let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
Schedule the rest of the week.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving week. We will be doing a show tomorrow. It is pre-recorded, but it is the Thanksgiving Spectacular. We did it earlier this morning. You do not want to miss it. So come celebrate the Thanksgiving Spectacular, and then we are off the rest of the week. That being said, we will be doing Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight on Friday night. You can watch that for free on Texan Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. We hope that you will come join us.
Please do. It'll be fun. One more show tomorrow. It'll be on tape. I have to be on a plane tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. I told Hank that, I told you this before. I told him, hey, buddy, we got to wake up early and go to the airport and stuff like that. So he has an alarm clock in his room, and I said, we're going to set your alarm for 4:25 a.m. And he's so excited about that.
That rocks.
And I'm like, dude, you don't get it. That sounds miserable. Because I'm going to wake up at 4, right? Dad'll be up earlier than that, and then his alarm go off trying to get out the door by 5.
It's a fun thing.
Well, this is now we've had multiple debates on this show between you and I about like how early you get to the airport.
Yeah, you better be running on my schedule because you've got 2 kids.
No, that's the thing. With
flying
kids,
with you.
kids, it's just like nope. That's that go my free and easy confidence goes out the window.
No, you absolutely are going to feel so much better if you have to sit in an airport for 2 hours with kids than to be trying to drag your 1-year-old through security and all of that with 15 minutes to spare.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do, and what we're gonna
Airports
do.
are cool. They'll be plenty entertained.
Well, we're gonna go. We gotta check a bunch of stuff. We gotta check like a car seat and stuff like that. So it's like it's tomorrow.
And it's holiday travel time. Like luckily you're going a little bit earlier than people. If it was Wednesday, I'd be like
tomorrow. If you are at Love Field and you see a very like frazzled father with like, maybe decently coiffed hair. It's probably me.
And mind your business.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Although if you see me near the bar, if you want to hook a brother up, I will probably take it at that point. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at THSFB.com. Thanks again to Brian Randall, head coach of the Randall Lions, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for the Texas Football Today Thanksgiving Spectacular on Texas Football Today.